بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So if you guys have been to the last halakas that we had, it was like in a bigger gathering, like we had a lot of people where we're like together, but this time since we're like, you know, in a cozy like setting, we're like less people. So I would like, you know, when we do yeah, so when we do this halakha, I want everybody to just like participate. So we're gonna like go through one by one. That's how we do the halakas like weekly. So this semester, like today's halakha, right, I want to talk to you guys about like, you know, tawakkul and having reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to focus on one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I found so like beautiful. It's Al-Muhaymin, which means full control. Like he's completely in control, right? So when you think about control, right, what comes to your mind? Like, oh, like control, what is the opposite of control? Like, do you guys have any like words you want to throw at me? Any words? Like when you think about control, opposite of control. Like what do you do in a, like when you don't have control over something, what do you like, oh, I don't have control over this. Like what is the opposite of that? Like what do you do when you don't have control? Chaos? Yes, like you feel the chaos inside. You're like, I'm not in control of this situation. So what do you do when you don't have control? That's a good guess. Yeah. Anybody? I will give you guys the answer, but yes.
Panic.
Yes, you panic. Yes, that's a good, yeah. Like when you don't have control, you panic and you worry about things, right? You're like, I don't have control. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this assignment on time, if I'm gonna get this, like, let's say, you know, homework done on like, you know, 11:59, right? So what I want to do is that I want to go around the room and then we're gonna say your name and then you're gonna say one of the things you're worried about right now, okay? So you guys can have like time to think. And I know that it's like, oh my gosh, you have to say your name, but it's just all of us. It's just us, you know? So it's gonna be like, you just feel comfortable, like everybody be like, we're all here. It's gonna be like, you know, nice. But one of the words I will say to you guys is that, so what happened was Tuesday, I had a quiz for my math class, right? And before that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like study a little bit. I hope it's gonna be easy because they said the math homework, like the quiz is gonna be from my math homework, right? So I studied and I was like, okay, it's gonna be good. It's just a one question answer. Like you just solve one problem. It's like within 10 minutes, right? I go in and then I just give the answer in and it's like, it took me such a while and I was panicking the whole time. Like, I don't know, because when they give the answer, like when they give the question, I was writing it down and then everybody was just leaving. Like they are done by their, like, you know, by the time that I'm still writing and they're just like handing out the paper. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And then I wrote the answer and I came out and I was like, I have to check, let me see. And guess what? My answer was wrong. I got a wrong answer on my first quiz of my first semester, like math class, right? Because for my major, I only required one math class, right? So I was panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I'm gonna get like this is a big thing. Like okay, I got first quiz wrong, and then I was telling my friend, I'm like, you know, this is what happened. Like I worried about it, and then I didn't get the answer right. And then I told my mom about it. I'm like, I don't know. Like this is the first quiz. I don't know how much points they're gonna cut out of this first thing, right? So what happened to me is that I worried about it. Like I was worrying about it, and then I'll give you guys like, you know, the ending of the story. It's gonna come in, but after I listen to all of you guys' answer, right? And the ending, it's gonna connect to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That like it just kind of like I remembered it, and then I was thinking about this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and somehow just ending made sense to me. So before that, but what happened to me is I was worried. I was worrying. Even after I gave the wrong answer, I was worrying about it, right? So we're gonna go from this side. You're gonna tell me your name and then one of the things like you're worried about. It could be anything. Like you could be worried about one of the class. You can tell me like what homework you're worried about. Anything just you're worried about right now. Like, you know, when I say worry, one thing comes to your mind.
So my name's Iman. One thing that I'm worried about right now is probably most likely school related. So
Yes. Is there like a particular subject you're worried about?
For me, biology is really hard.
Okay.
Like I'm less of a conceptual person and more of like an analytical person.
Mm-hmm.
So something like bio, where you have to do a lot of memorization, has been recently stressing me out.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, makes sense. Because when it comes to me, I'm more like I can do the memorizing done, but when it comes to like doing things like putting things into place, that's when I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do. But is there like a class that you were like worried about? Is it bio? Like any of you guys are taking the class maybe?
Yeah, so currently I'm
Anybody else is taking
I
203?
Yeah.
Okay, see, a lot of people are in the same boat as you, yeah.
Like, I just think it's a lot of material
Mm-hmm.
because they just cram so much information in one lecture.
Right, right. And you have to just retain
Yeah.
all of it
Yeah.
by like next week or like by the before the class.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do.
Yes, yes. So all of us have like some subject, right? So we're gonna move on. What's your name and what is the one thing you're worried about?
My name is Naziha,
Naziha.
and the one thing I'm actually worried about right now is securing a job after graduation.
Okay, okay.
I think my worries is more so if I'm doing the right thing to
Mhm.
secure the job rather than actually getting the job itself. So,
Right, right. Makes sense. Because when you're in the process, you're like, am I putting in the right thing in, right foot in? Yes, yes.
And
No,
then
it,
there's like the interviews and then, preparing for the interviews and prepping your resume. It's very stressful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes, half the times, I'm thinking, is this even worth going through?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. No, all of us like, we're in like, undergrad, but what is the next step when you like graduate? That's like a big, like, you're out in the world, but then what do you do? Like,
What
what?
do with that? Exactly.
Right, right, right. Okay. That's like, all of our worries are very like big to us, right? Like when you think about it, it's like, oh, it doesn't seem like, because for us, like we're undergrad, we might not relate to you, but at the same time, it's like, it's bigger to you. For us, it's like, oh, our classes and everything. But yeah. All right. What's your name and what is the?
My name is Ananda, and okay, this may sound a little silly, but I injured my knee yesterday, and I'm stressed out about how I'm gonna get my steps into.
I know. Did you go to the doctors or like?
I'm going to artist.
Okay, okay. Did they give you like any medication or any?
They wanted to give me breaks.
Okay, okay, okay. But like, are you able to walk properly?
I
Good.
can't bend my knee like that
Okay.
much. Like I
Oh.
can't really do like you sit down for such so like even that stuff.
So you sit down for now, or like, do you sit down and
I
pray?
can sit down slowly.
Okay, okay, okay.
Walking.
And then did they give you like time wise, like how long it's gonna take for
I'm
you?
gonna go tomorrow.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, like it's just when we think about like our like study wise, but like also health wise too, like you might just like get sick. And like one of my coworker, I work in the parking services, she like called off today because she was sick, right? Like everybody gets like a lot of things that can go wrong. So that thing, inshallah, it gets well, inshallah. Okay, what's your name? I know already your name, but like what is one of the things like you're worried about?
Assalamualaikum, I'm Faria, and out of all the things I'm worried about, I'll just say, there's this medication, like, cause I dorm, and I'm almost out of medication, and I don't want to go all the way back to my hometown, which is like 3 hours away, to go get it. So I've been like calling my pharmacy like crazy, like, oh, when's my medication coming in? Because I really need to take it. I take it weekly.
Is there like a way for you to like get it here, like deliver it here? Is
It
there?
has to be through my provider back home though, because she's the one who ordered it. But yeah.
No, that's yeah. See, like when you think about like worries, it's a lot of things. Like all of our worries are so different than each other. But yeah, like inshallah it gets here soon. Inshallah. Are you gonna go back or are you gonna like bring it here?
Well, my parents, like, they're dropping off a bunch of things this weekend, but like the medication won't come back in time, and I feel bad for like asking them to come
Right.
over.
3 hours. It's like a
Yeah.
drive, 3 hours or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus Long Island traffic.
Right.
So I just keep thinking maybe I should just skip a few doses.
No, inshallah they get here in time. Are they gonna come in the weekend or in the weekend?
No, but they have to go to my home address.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if they can bring it here.
Yeah, but like your parents are coming in to give you, right? Like the medication.
Yeah, they can do that, but it's not gonna come by.
Oh,
tomorrow,
right.
by
Oh, so they have to do it if they come. It's gonna be like the next week or something.
by the end of the month.
Yeah. But inshallah, like we're gonna come into. That's why, like, when all of this worries, we're gonna come into why Al-Muhaymin like makes sense, right? So, all right. So, what's your name and what's the worry?
Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Farina. I think I'm worried about my Orgo exam next week.
Okay, anybody else taking Orgo?
Yeah.
There's 1, 2. Okay. Okay.
We all have it together. I think we're all pretty stressed
Yeah, you
right
guys can
now.
just like make a group chat. Yeah. But yeah, like exams are just like it's gonna come in. It's eventually gonna come in, right? Yeah, true. But inshallah, like all of us this semester, inshallah, we get to do really good on this exams, like all the exams that we have. All right, I'm gonna move on. You can just say your name and what's the worry you have.
My name is Noor. I have a chemistry exam next week also. Now we're going
Next week. Anybody else taking chemistry? Oh my gosh, chemistry is just really hard subject. Like, I props to you. Like, for my major, I don't have to take chemistry, but it's like I know I've taken chemistry in like my high school year, and I'm like, yeah. But it's really hard because a lot of like you have to just add in a lot of things, and yeah. Do you guys have to do like lab wise, or like is it like a written exam?
I have a lab every other week, so I haven't had to do anything yet for it. I'm fine with like the memorizing part of it, but like the formulas and stuff, all the different things we have to know are really overwhelming.
Right. It gets like yeah, inshallah, like it's gonna, inshallah. All right. So, what's your name and what is the word you have?
My name is Isha. Assalamualaikum. My worry right now is just I'm like second guessing my major and my future career. Cause like I feel like as you get older, like what you realize like what you want from in life changes. So like inshallah, I want to have like kids in the future, but I'm just like considering if my future job even has the like flexibility for me to be, you know.
Right. No, it's a big like worry, and I remember when I used to be in high school, I used to love physics so much, and I was like, this is gonna be my major. I never thought of anything else. I'm like, I told my mom like, I'm gonna be a physicist. I don't want anything else. But look at me here in university studying psychology. So yeah, like we have change in mind. But you know, at the end of the day, like when we're gonna come into the name, and we're gonna see that at the end of the day, whatever Allah SWT has for you, it's always the best thing for you. You can never, like when you go at the end of your journey, when you look back, you're like, this is the way, like it couldn't have been any other way, right? But like I feel like it's like a really crucial part. And you're a freshman, correct? So like but the fact that you're already thinking about it as a freshman, I think it's a good, like you're already thinking, let's say you're junior or you're like at the middle of your sophomore year, now then you think that you're like, wait a minute, I have to change it. It could have been a lot of like, the process would have been very hard, right? But the fact that you're already thinking about it, it's a good thing. Inshallah, like it, gets solved out, and yeah, inshallah.
What are you currently studying?
Health
Health
science.
science.
And I was like thinking like going like pre-dental, but like I'm like looking it up and it's just like a lot of like commitment. So I'm like maybe I should do a job that's less, you know, that, but it's also in the healthcare field. So it's like
It's a lot, yeah. But both of them, it's like you have to study like pre-med. Yes. All right, yeah. So basically, we're like talking about one of us Mata's name, Al-Muhaymin. But we're gonna like basically what we're doing is we're running around the room and we're like asking people what their worries are. So you just shared yours, and I'm gonna move on to the next person. What's your name and what's the worry that you have?
Assalamualaikum, my name is Fatima. My worry is actually pretty similar to yours. It's basically like all my life I've never really had like a dream career or anything like that. Like everyone kind of seems to have like something that they want to do or something like that. So I'm kind of coming into college like blind in a way.
Right.
And I'm in the same predicament. Like I want to do something health related, but I don't really want to go into like pre-med. And so my parents are very like adamant on me becoming a doctor.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out like, what track I want to go on and like how I'm gonna work that out with my parents.
Right. And do you have like any specific interests that you're like, I really like doing this or something?
Honestly, that's my problem. Like I don't really have anything like that because I've kind of been like sheltered growing up, so I didn't have like hobbies or stuff like that. But I'm thinking of like going into radiology tech maybe.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like, just expose yourself to everything that interests you. What I do with my psych major is like I love social psychology, but I'm also doing clinical psychology. I'm doing like specifically like schizophrenia related lab, like something that I'm like, okay, which area of psychology that I am interested in. So I would say for you to like, are you undecided or do you have like a major like?
I'm in the health science major.
Okay. So like I would say like for one of my friends, she is also health science major, but she loves anatomy and she wants to be like a pediatrician in the future. So it's like it works out because she gets to learn a lot about the body. So I would say like everything like that is like there for you to discover within the biology field if you're still interested in it. I would say expose yourself to like see like go into different clubs and see like take classes that are like, oh, I love to learn about this. So like and then after when you get to do that, you're like you go to the professor and you're like, can I like, is there any research you're doing? Can I like do something? So like get involved, but to say just expose yourself to everything that's like, that interests you, right? So inshallah, like, it gets, And by the end, by the time you're gonna be junior, by the time you're gonna be senior, you're gonna look back, you're like, I'm so glad I decided, like, I got to like think about it while I was a freshman. So it's a good, like, good word to have. It's really nice. I'll come to you guys after. I'll give you guys some time to think. So we're gonna move on to this side. What's your name and what is the word you have?
So my name's Aussie, I'm a sophomore, and I think my worry would definitely just be my future in general. Like just making sure like, oh, okay, so what I'm doing right now, like what I want to do, like trying to do shadowing and stuff.
Right.
But it's just like I'm always like second guessing everything.
No, true. It happens to all of us, right? Like when you're doing something, like you said, right? Like you're like, wait, is this the right way to go? Like, is there like, should I have done this? Should I have done that? Like we all have these big worries, and especially it's like if you guys see all of our worries, right? It's everything is future related. Like we're looking forward to something, but we don't know what is out there, right? But that's a really like, all of us have that worry. So yeah, so inshallah, like, when it's just like, I just want you guys to like, think about all the words that we're talking about. And then when you come to the topic that we're going to talk about, it's going to make sense. You're like, Ya Allah, like, you're Al-Muhaymin, the fact that you're completely in control, it makes sense why, so that's a good word to have. We're going to move on. What's your name and what is the word that you have?
Assalamualaikum guys, my name is Maida and my worry is definitely very similar. It's definitely about my future and I'm just trying to gain some like political experience, find a job. So, yeah.
No, all of us have the same thing. Like, like when you are interested in something, how do you go about it? Like, who do you reach out to? Which professor do you email? And then if the professor doesn't email you back, you're like, wait a minute, like what is happening? Or like reach out to doctors and stuff. But it's a lot of like, future related worries. All of us have it. So, we're all in the same boat, by the way. Like all of us have worries and it's basically the same thing. So, okay, what's your name and what's the worry they have?
Assalamualaikum everyone, my name's Luca. I think one of the biggest worries at the moment is like just like the whole process to apply to medical school, I guess.
Right.
And the extracurriculars and
Is there like, I feel like all of you guys are pre-med, but like just put up hands who are pre-med here. Okay, see, all of us are in the same boat.
It seems like a very daunting process and there's so many different aspects to it, so it's just a matter of managing everything.
Right. And you have to like look forward to what area that you want to like go into. Like, is it pediatric, surgeon, or there's a lot of things to explore, right? So yeah, like all of us have these big worries, and that's a really big worry, like when you think about it. All right, so, yes. What is your name and what is the one worry you have? You guys can like, whoever wants to go first.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nazia, and my worry is like more temporary because since I'm just a freshman, back in high school I used to be at the top of my class, but here it's hard to maintain the classwork and the workload and everything. Like I'm falling behind in my classes and everything like that, and it's hard maintaining a social life and finding extracurriculars to do well at the same time. But inshallah, I know it'll get better, but right now.
Right. Like inshallah, because I feel like when you guys come into the university, it's like it's a very like unknown field. You don't know where is everything. Like where do you find the right people? Where do you find the right friend, right? But at the end, like when you like get used to the environment and everything, it gets easier for you to like manage everything, right? So inshallah, like it's gonna get like it's gonna get like fixed, inshallah. All right. What's your name and what is the one where you have?
My name is Nora, and one of my worries is that like I'm not doing enough sometimes compared to other people my age. Like they're doing this and that, and then I'm not doing enough.
No, it makes sense because when I was a sophomore, when I used to hear people say, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything," right? But like, I feel like just take it as a motivation in a way where you're like, "Wait a minute, everybody's doing it, I want to do it too," Instead of like trying to weigh it down, like trying to like let the thing weigh you down. Instead, just think about it as like, yeah, well, like everybody's doing it, I want to do something like that too. Like, get it, like think of it as a motivation instead of like try to like, oh, I'm not doing anything, like just try to make it like a motivational factor instead of like anything else. But yeah, so all of us had like shared our worries, right? All of us have these big worries, these small worries, anything that we think about, right? And I'm gonna give you guys the ending of my story. So what happened was I went to my professor and I asked her, I'm like, so what happened was I told my mom about my worry. She couldn't help me. She was like, yeah, like it's gonna get better. Try to focus on the next exam, right? And I was like, okay. And then I told my friend and she told me the same thing, right? But something in me, it didn't reassure me enough until I went to the professor, right? So I asked the professor, I'm like, what about the quiz? Like I did this quiz and I don't think, do we get partial grade and everything? And of course she's the professor, right? She said, she's like, okay, you're gonna get partial grade, and then if you attend all the recitation, it's gonna count for one of the grade for the quiz, right? So what happened here was that I was worried about something. I asked someone who was in control of the situation, right? So let's say I asked my mom. I told my mom about my worry. She was not in control of the situation. She couldn't help me. Her reassurance didn't reassure my heart enough, right? Until I went to someone who had really complete control over the situation. She knew what was going on. When I told her, oh, I'm worried about this, like I don't know about the quiz, right? She gave me reassurance. She's like, you know, you're gonna get partial credit if you got, like, even if you got the answer wrong, if you did the process right, you'll still get partial credit. And then let's say when you, like, you know, attend all of the lectures, you're gonna get like one, like, you know, quiz mark for that, right? So I want you guys to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name being Al-Muhaymin, right? What does Al-Muhaymin mean, right? So I want you guys to think about 3 of the things that I will like tell you guys, and that's what Al-Muhaymin means, right? So Al-Muhaymin means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is complete control, like he has complete control over everything. Second thing is that he has command over everything. So complete control, command, and then the third thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protection, right? So Al-Muhaymin means that he has complete control, command, and protection, right? So Al-Muhaymin comes from the root word, like the Arabic word that, like, you know, Al-Muhaymin stems from. Because if you guys take in Arabic, like I took it last semester, every single word has a root word. So let's say I'm saying, like, you know, hope. Hope comes from a root word, right? So like Al-Muhaymin comes from the root word hamana, right? And then hamana, I'm gonna tell you guys, there's like 3 of the, like, hamana means 3 things, and we're gonna like deep dive into what those mean, right? So Al-Muhaymin comes from the root word hamana, and then hamana means 3 things. Hamana means complete control, right? But then also it means 3 things. First off is knowledge. Hamana, what is the root word? Like Al-Muhaymin comes from the root word hamana. Hamana means 3 things. First is knowledge, right? The second thing hamana means is ability, right? And the third thing hamana means is continuity. So I will go into like every single one of them, right? So like just to recap everything, Al-Muhaymin comes from the root word hamana, and hamana means 3 things: continuity, ability, and knowledge, right? So let's get into it. So what is the first one? Knowledge, right? What does like, you know, when you think about knowledge, like what do you guys think about? Like, do you guys have any, like, just throw some words, or like you know, just like anything counts. Like, what does knowledge, when you think about knowledge, like what does it mean? To know, right? Like to know about what is happening, right? Anything else you want to add? Like, you know, just to, like, you know, knowledge. What does that also mean? Like, you know, to know something, but also, do you guys have anything to say? Like any?
Understand?
Yes, to understand, right? So like, you know, like when you think about knowledge, it means to know, like what is going on about the situation, and to have knowledge, right? Like to understand what is happening, right? So when you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, he knows what's going on. And do you guys just say it quickly? Do you guys know what is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being, like, you know, all knowledgeable? Do you guys know the name of him? Like, do you guys know any, like, you know, what is the name? Yeah, I see. Alim, yes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim, which means he's knowledgeable. He's all knowledgeable. So whatever is happening, let's say my situation, right? Like I give you guys a quiz situation. Whatever was happening in that situation, I went to someone who had knowledge, right? I went to my friend. She didn't know what was going on. So whenever she told me, she reassured me. It didn't really, like, you know, reassured. It didn't give me relief, right? I went to my mom. She didn't know what was exactly happening, right? What was in the quiz. She didn't know what was, like, you know, like what is the, like, you know, syllabus and everything. She didn't give me, whenever she gave me reassurance, it didn't really relieve my heart, right? I went to the professor and she was knowledgeable, right? She knew what was going on. So when she gave me relief, she was like, you know, you have to, like, you know, you're gonna get partial credit. It really made my heart, like, it gave my heart relief. Why? Because she had knowledge. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowledgeable, which means that he has complete knowledge. He understands what's going on, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Alim means that he has, let's say, whatever is happening in your life, right? Whatever is happening around you. So whenever, let's say I have a problem, right? And I'm like, Ya Allah, I'm having this big problem, like this assignment I cannot do. When you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about something, right? When you make dua, just think about it this way, right? Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Alim means that he knows what's going on. He knows what's happening, around you. He knows what's happening inside your heart too. Sometimes, we have some things we're like, oh, I just can't explain it. But like, I feel this way, right? When you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you go to him about something, when you make dua to him about something, right? You're going to him and he is Al-Alim. He is the most knowledgeable, right? He knows what's happening. He knows what happened around that situation that you're like, I can't process it. Like the exam, like when you go to the class, I get really nervous. Everybody's like so serious. Like, you feel all of these things, right? But you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's say you're like trying to make a dua, or you're trying to be like, I just don't know what to do. Like you're asking him for help, right? When you do those things, I want you guys to remember that he is Al-Alim. Means that he knows what is happening around you, but also that he knows what's happening inside you, right? So Alhamdulillah means 3 things. If you guys do you guys remember what I said? Yeah. Knowledge, yes. Yes, there you go. Perfect. So first one we covered was knowledge, right? The second thing I want to talk to you guys about is him being able, right? So the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is that makes the fact that he's able is Al-Qadir, which means he is the most able. So ability gives, when you think about it, ability wise, first we talked about knowledge, second thing is ability, right? So when I told, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to refer back to the same problem that I shared with you guys, right? When I did the quiz, right? I asked my mom, I asked my friend, they weren't able to do anything about it, right? But I went to someone, let's say my professor, and she was able to solve it. She was able to fix it, right? So sometimes we have these problems, right? We're like, but I'm telling you, but you don't understand. You're not going to be able to help me, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the other hand, he is Al-Qadir, which means he is able. He can solve your problem. He has the ability to solve your problem, right? Let's say you're sharing something, you had a really bad day, right? You told your friend, or, let's say I missed my train, because I commute, right? I missed my bus to come to Stony Brook, right? When I'm saying that to my friend, I'm like, I'm just having such a bad day. I missed my bus, I missed my train, whatever, right? Is she able to solve my problem at the moment? No, right? Because she can't make the bus driver call the bus driver and be like, can you come back, for my friend is still waiting at the station? No, right? So sometimes we have these problems, and when we share it to the people around us, right? Sometimes they're not able to solve our problem. Sometimes they listen to us, they give us relief. They oh yeah, next bus, you're gonna take the next train, right? But they can't solve our problem at the moment, at the situation, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Qadir, right? He is able to fix your problem. He is the most able. If you have any problem, anything that you're going through, and you're like, I just don't know how to do this, right? When you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just tell him your worries. What I do is I'm like, Allah, so what happened was, I give him, I tell him everything. That's one of the things I do. It's I tell him everything, anything that's going on, anything that's that is something that I just don't know how to do it. I'm like, Allah, just next day I go, please just let my classes be easier, or let me understand the material better, right? What I'm doing, or what I want you guys to think about is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Qadir means that he is the most able. You go to someone, they might not able to fix your worries, they might not able to fix your problems, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Qadir. That means that he is able to solve it. He's able to fix the situation and give you relief instantly, right? So the first thing we talked about was knowledge. The second thing we just talked about was ability, right? And then the third thing I want you guys to focus on is continuity, which means that sometimes, we might be able to control a situation, right? Sometimes, let's say, I'm okay, I missed my train, I missed my bus. Next day what I'm going to do, I'm going to wake up early to get on my train. I'm going to wake up early to just, get on the bus, quicker so that I don't miss my train, right? Sometimes you have, let's say, control over a situation. You can change something, but it is limited, right? Sometimes you're okay, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to go on the bus on time, I'm gonna do the assignment on time, 11:59. Sometimes you're I'm really fired up, but I do not want to have this situation, I do not want to have this problem, right? What happens is sometimes some things go out of your way. Let's say you're doing the homework on time, but then the system crashed, you're not able to give the just submit the thing on time, right? Sometimes we have these situations that are out of our control. So sometimes you have control over some things, but that's limited, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he is Al-Baqi, which means he's everlasting. He has complete control over everything, right? That he is the one He is like, you know, when you think about control, we have control over some situations in our life, but those are limited. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Baqi, which means he has complete control, but those are everlasting. Like him being out of control, it's never gonna happen. He's always gonna have control, right? So him being al-Alim means he's the most knowledgeable, that he knows everything, whatever is going on, whatever is wrong, right? He knows everything, right? And then the third one, which is ability, right? Him being al-Qadir means that he's able to fix your problem. He's able to, you know, solve all of our worries, right? All of the worries that we had, like we talked about right now, right? It was just like, you know, something that we're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I just don't know about my future, right? I don't know what job I'm gonna take. I don't know this class. I don't know if I'm gonna get a good grade, right? All of this like problems that we have, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being al-Qadir means that he is able to solve the problems. Like he's able to fix them, right? And the third one is that, let's say we have control over some things, but those are limited. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being al-Baqi means that he is everlasting. Like whatever control he has over things, they're never gonna run out. He'll always be in control, right? So when you are going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you're asking him for something, when you're like trying to make dua about something, right? Let's say about a future, let's say about like, you know, like whatever like experience that we want to have, let's say whatever class that we're taking and we don't know what to do, right? Next time you go to him, you're like, Ya Allah, I know one thing for sure. You know what's going on. You understand what's happening. And then the second thing, I know you're able to fix my problem. You're able to just get me out of this, right? And I know the other thing is that you're never going to run out of like, you know, like ways to solve my problem because you're completely in control. And your control is never going to like, you know, run out. You're always going to be in control. You're always going to be able to fix my problems. You're always going to be able to understand what's happening. And you're always going to be able to like, you know, like never run out of things to just, you know, provide me with, right? So next time you guys like make dua, you're like, Ya Allah, I don't know. I'm just making this dua. I don't know if it's going to get solved. No. Now you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fully in control. He is Al-Muhaymin. That he knows exactly what's happening. He is able to fix your problem and he is never going to run out of ways to solve your problem, right? So, one of the things I want you one of the things I want to like think you guys to think about, right? Like, you know, what does tawakkul mean? Like, you know, like, because that's one of the things that we're also talking about. Now that you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Muhaymin, and if you guys remember, like, those three things I talked about, like, the first one being, like, do you guys, when I, like, just remember, like, I like to quiz. I'm like, yeah, like, what about that one? What about this one? So the first one, like, do you guys remember, like, what is the first quality of Hamana? Yes, knowledge. What is the second one? Ability, yes. What is the third one? Which is a little bit, I saw hand, yeah. Continuity, right? Ability, continuity, and him, like, you know, ability, continuity, and knowledge, right? Those three things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always have. So next time you go to him with a problem, you're gonna know that he knows. He understands and he's able to fix it, right? So the second thing we want to talk about is like tawakkul, right? Like, do you guys want to like give me some definition? What does it mean? Like tawakkul, like, you know, when you hear the word.
You could say like dependence.
Yes, dependent. Like you're just like relying on someone. Like, you know that whenever, let's say you have a friend, right? You're like, oh, I'm never gonna, like, she's always gonna be there for me, right? Like when you think about tawakkul as a word without like, you know, just like connecting it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just the word tawakkul, right? Like you're able to just rely on someone, right? When you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and him being Al-Muhaymin means that he's completely in control. You're never gonna like, you know, stop trusting him, because every time you know that Allah, like every time I'm gonna go up to him, I know that he's always gonna be he's always gonna be there for me, right? Let's say you have a friend who's reliable, right? Like, oh, like every time I text her, she always replies back, right? Every time I call her, she always picks up, right? She's a reliable friend. That means that whenever I'm gonna reach out to her, she's never gonna run out of like things to say, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Muhaymin means that he's completely in control. And when we have tawakkul on him, we always reach out to him and we know that he's always going to be there for us, right? So yeah, like when you think about like all of our worries, you know, like everything that we went through, everything that we're currently going on, right? Like everything that's happening like with all of our lives, right? Like when you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Muhaymin, and then when you add the tawakkul, like, you know, Al-Muhaymin, and I'm going to have complete trust in him, that's when you like you move forward without trying to have like all this anxiety, like I don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? Then now that you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always going to be there for you, he's always going to show up for you. Next time you go up to him with a problem, you're like, Ya Allah, but I know you're going to be able to fix it, right? The tawakkul means that you have that reliance, you have the reassurance, right? Let's say like I say that this chair is reliable, right? So what happens is I sit on the chair, it doesn't break. It's sturdy, right? Like it's reliable, that whenever I put like my bag on it, right, it's gonna be there, it's never gonna budge, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Al-Muhaymin means that he's completely in control. And then when we have tawakkul on him, is that he's always gonna be there for us. He's never gonna, anytime we're gonna be like, when you call a friend, let's say I call my friend, she's from, let's say, another country, she's like on a vacation, right? Sometimes what happens is the internet like connection, it's a little bit like low, she might not pick up on time, right? But when you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our relationship with him, like whenever we make dua, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, right? He says that call upon me and I will respond. He's already telling you that he's gonna give you an answer. He's already telling you that whenever you're gonna say something to me, whenever you make that dua, he's always gonna be there. He's always gonna respond, right? So when you think about now that you know one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, you are Al-Muhaymin, which means you're completely in control. Next time I'm gonna ask you something, I know that you're the only one who can fix it. You're the only one who's always gonna be there for me. You're the only one who's always gonna show up for me, right? So, when we always when we do the halakas, right, what we do is that we end up with like a little bit of takeaways, right? Like we do like a little bit of just like a little bit tidbits, like pointers that I want you guys to take away from, right? So one of the takeaways I want you guys to remember is that always reach out to him. No matter what it is, no matter the small worries that you have, no matter the big worries that you have. Let's say I don't know, the bus schedule changed the next day, next semester, the whole bus schedule has changed. I don't know which bus to take. Like small worries, like it's nothing. I can just solve it myself, right? Or like big worries as is like, I don't know which career to choose, right? I don't know which job to apply for, right? All of these big worries, reach out to him. Always just go up to him and be like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Just reach out to him, because know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always going to be there for you. He's always going to show up for you, right? Because he is Al-Muhaymin, which means he has complete control. That no matter what happens, he is never going to be the one to run out of ways to solve your problem, right? So another thing is that I want you guys to remember is that practice relying on him. When you think about, okay, Ya Allah, you are Al-Muhaymin, you are Al-Alim, you are Al-Qadir, all these names we know about him, right? But do we practice it? Try to practice it. Like, let's say it's kind of like, when you go about your day, like, let's say you run into a problem, you're trying to print out a paper, right? It doesn't print out, right? Whatever small thing, you're like, wait. Let me just pause here. Ya Allah, please solve it. Just try to reach out to him, small things. And you don't have to sit down and make the dua. You can just say it in your heart, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who knows what's going on in your heart, right? So whenever you're making a dua, you don't have to say it out loud, or you don't have to put your hand up. You can just always say it in your heart too, because sometimes we're in our bus, we're going somewhere, we're panicking, I don't know if I'm gonna miss the train, right? You don't have the time to just sit down and be like, Ya Allah, all right, I'm gonna make dua. We don't have. Sometimes we're presented with unexpected situations, right? Say it in your heart. Just reach out to him, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who knows what's happening, right? So just practice relying on him. Next time you have something, small things, big things, try to practice it. How do you practice it? You always just in your heart, you're like, Allah, I want to just reach out to you. Try to make dua in a way where let's say what I do when one thing I tell you guys about is what I tell in all the halakas, what I try to practice myself too is try to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you're talking to your friend. When you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're like, oh, how do I make dua, right? Just when I'm talking to you guys, right? I'm just simply talking, right? When you talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just be like, Allah, what happened today was I ran into this problem. My car broke down. I had such a big situation that I couldn't handle. I got a really bad grade on my test, right? Whatever these small things, try to talk to him as if you're talking to a friend. Because when you're going to do that, you're going to always reach out to him, even the smallest thing. So when you reach out to him, even the smallest thing, you're always going to reach out to him for even the biggest things, right? So that's where I want to end here today, inshallah, is that just try to practice it. Whatever you go through next couple of weeks, right? Next time we meet, it's going to be on Tuesday, 2 to 3, if you guys are busy around the time, or if you guys have classes, right? tell, like, inshallah, next week when we do what, I will ask you guys, like, did you guys practice it? Like, what problems did you guys like ran into that you guys like, oh, you know what, I actually thought about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name being Al-Muhaymin, and I actually made a dua right at the moment and it got solved, or like right at the moment and I found so much relief, right? So like next time, like, you try to practice it, because when you think about something, you think about the concept, but then when you try to practice it in real life, that's when you see the functionality of it, right? So try to practice Allah subhanahu, like, you know, one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name being Al-Muhaymin, that practice it, like, Ya Allah, you are completely in control. Next time I run into a problem, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna make dua right at the moment. You know, no double thinking, no nothing, right? I'm gonna make dua right away, right? So inshallah, this is where we end, and then I'm gonna make a dua, like, if you guys wanna join in. We always end up with a beautiful dua. I love this dua so much. So let's go. Ya Rabbul Alameen, Ya Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, Ya Arhamur Rahimin. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza, Syria, Congo, Sudan, Uyghur, Afghanistan, Lebanon, wherever they're suffering, Ya Allah, grant them Jannatul Firdaus A'la. Allow them to only remember the good times, the good memories with their family members, and allow them to forget all the hardships, all the atrocities that they're going through. And Ya Allah, allow that highest level of Jannatul Firdaus A'la, when they reach it, Ya Allah, with their family members, allow them to just forget all of the physical and mental wounds that they're going through, Ya Allah. And Ya Allah, all of us, you know, we talked about today, all of our worries that we are going through, and all of the worries that we're gonna have in the future, Ya Allah. You are Al-Muhaymin, Ya Allah. Solve all of our worries, and always, Ya Allah, allow us to be the best versions of ourselves. Fi dunya wal akhirah. Alright, so this is where we end.